Today I'm going to talk to you about modern medicine or Western medicine and ancient medicine or Chinese medicine. So I'm excited to share with you today 3 ways you can achieve better health that Western medicine isn't exactly telling you about. The first is I'll be sharing the best way to treat chronic disease. The second is the secret of stress and rest and why it's a matter of life and death. And 3 is how you can trigger your own inherent immune system to heal and prevent disease in your body. So once you understand these possibilities, they can completely revolutionize your health. With this information, you can take back control of your health, vitality, and well-being. So my name's KALUB Jarosh. I'm a licensed acupuncturist and herbalist of Chinese medicine. I have a clinic where we treat patients every day that struggle specifically with chronic disease. So people come to the clinic from all over the state of California at this point. We have patients from Northern California, Southern California. We have patients that come from outside California too to get treatment in the clinic. So I'd like to start by talking a bit about Western medicine. You see, Western medicine actually has a serious crisis on its hands. It's not what you think, though. It's not the availability or the access to care or even the cost of care. It's the actual medicine itself. It's not working. It's not making us healthier, but sicker. So let me explain what I mean by this. The first important stop we're going to make is the prestigious medical journal called the Journal of American Medical Association, JAMA for short. In a study, it was revealed in 2000 that Western medicine was the 3rd leading cause of death of Americans in the US. And that's still true today. What this means is that the cause of death was from a physician's or hospital's activity, manner, or therapy, so basically treatment. So the number 1 cause of death in the US is cardiovascular disease, which happens to be chronic disease, and the second is cancer. So let's look a little bit closer at why this is the case. Western medicine is a new medicine. It hasn't been around for very long. It got its start in the Middle Ages as a trauma medicine, and that's what it's really good at. So if you have a serious acute trauma, Western medicine can absolutely save your life. It's very good at treating infection, and it has a very competent category of drugs called antibiotics, which we all know about. So what it's not good at treating is chronic disease, and it's actually making those who have chronic disease sicker. Let's look at why this is. According to Western medicine, chronic disease is any condition or symptom that you have for over 6 months. So at this point, Western medicine defines your condition as incurable, which means they can only manage it from that point on. And so how do they manage it? Well, they do it with drugs. And here's the problem. Nearly all the drugs have multiple side effects. And if this condition can only be managed, then you're going to end up taking these drugs indefinitely, right? Because the symptom is not going to get any better because it's incurable. So I talk to a lot of people throughout the week in the clinic, and intuitively people know that they shouldn't have to take drugs or a supplement long-term to be healthy, to live a long, vibrant life. People know that the body has its own pharmacopoeia of compounds to heal itself, as do all living things. So intuitively, people know something's wrong when they're told that they're going to have to take a bunch of medication or supplements or even herbs with no end in sight just to be healthy. So even though people are taking multiple medications, they end up coming to the clinic because they still don't feel good. In the clinic, we're seeing around 90% of the people taking anywhere on an average of 3 to 14 different medications a day. And that's to manage chronic disease. So they've been also usually taking them for years. And so these are symptoms like anxiety, fatigue, depression, insomnia. So why is this treatment approach of swallowing pills a problem? It's actually a big problem because studies are now showing that our longevity is going down, and we're not actually living as long as the previous generation, which is a big problem. And Western medicine is our national healthcare model, so it's actually responsible for our wellness. It's responsible for our longevity. But it's clear from these studies that I've mentioned that it's actually failing us. So here's the most concerning part, and this is kind of amazing to me, is that there's no double-blind studies, no studies at all that show what mixing 3, 4, 5, 6 different medications actually does in the body long term. It's very interesting because Western medicine prides itself in the double-blind studies, but it's not holding itself accountable in this regard. It's actually flying blind. So why do we pop the pills? Because there really isn't an alternative that's indigenous to our culture. But it's clear that we need to try something else. We need to look for solutions, say, outside of our culture for treating chronic disease. And this is actually happening more and more. Since the 1960s, we've been looking at ancient medicine or Chinese medicine as a form of medicine, and it's getting more popular specifically because it's been very good at treating pain. Chinese medicine is also very good at treating chronic disease. Why is that? It's because it's a cardiovascular medicine, meaning that it helps restore proper blood flow to the body's muscles, the tissues, and the organs that aren't working correctly. So the modality of acupuncture does this by stabbing the body with these little tiny needles. It's called acupuncture. And what it does is it creates an immune response in the body. And the herbal medicine does this by increasing circulation in the body as well. So by restoring blood flow to the organs like the heart, we can help with symptoms like fatigue, anxiety, or even chest pain. This ancient medicine has been treating chronic disease for about 3,000 years and counting. Conditions like heart disease, diabetes, insomnia, GI tract problems, symptoms like sleep, depression, and fatigue. It's not great at treating acute trauma, but that's okay because that's why we have Western medicine. So I want to tell you about a patient named Laura who came to see me this year, just to give you a picture of how this medicine works. The main reason she came to the clinic is that she felt terrible. And she was taking 3 blood pressure medications, so lisinopril, a beta blocker, hydrochlorothiazide, but she still had high blood pressure. She was taking a sleeping pill, Ambien, an antidepressant, Cymbalta. That might sound familiar to you. You might be taking the same thing. She was taking a pill for acid reflux. And despite all these drugs, she still felt tired, she felt anxious, and she had chest pain. So her main complaint was that she actually felt tired. She couldn't do anything. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that the main side effect, if you look up these drugs, is fatigue of all of them, right? So Laura's main problem was that she had preclinical heart disease, which, if you remember, is the #1 cause of death in the United States. It's cardiovascular disease. So she had passed the treadmill test. She got a clean bill of health, but what the treadmill folks don't tell you is that you can pass that test and you can still be 70% blocked in a vessel. So imagine if you're, say, 40% or 50% blocked in a vessel. That's going to make you tired or cause other symptoms. So when we started treating her, in about 3 weeks, her symptoms improved by about 40%. And then after a few months, she ended up being able to stop her medications, primarily because her symptoms had improved so much. So what did we do? We were actually able to address circulation, improve blood flow to the heart. And so Chinese medicine, really, it's a cardiovascular medicine. It improves circulation, and it works really well at doing this. You can do, for example, a thermographic scan before and after acupuncture, and after acupuncture, you can actually see the blood flow increase. Chinese medicine isn't designed to manage ongoing disease. It's designed to try to return the body back to a balanced state by helping the body heal. So why is it a better approach to chronic disease? #1, there typically aren't any side effects from the acupuncture or the herbal formulas. You don't have to take the herbal medicine for years on end, and usually you see significant result in weeks if the disease isn't too progressed. And Chinese medicine and Western medicine are both used in China together depending on what kind of care is needed, because it's integrated in the hospitals that way. Chinese medicine is faster, it's cheaper, and it's more effective for treating chronic disease than Western medicine when it works. And you're going to start to actually see here in the United States the two being combined together because it's so effective. So before, you remember when I spoke earlier about the secret of stress and rest and why it's a matter of life and death? Well, this will also go into more details explaining why Chinese medicine works and how. So our immune system is actually responsible for healing the body. Things like broken bones, cuts, bruises, scratches, things like this. It does an amazing job. And the nervous system controls the body, and there's two states to the nervous system operating. The parasympathetic, which is the rest and digest, and then the sympathetic, which is the fight or flight, or it's the stress state. So you're in one or the other of these, and the immune system works best in the rest and the digest state. And the beautiful way that acupuncture works is by putting the body in this rest and digest state. So it also directly stimulates the immune healing response of the body as well. So lots of us are in a stress state more than we actually need to be. And this is the body going out of balance to save you from the tiger, basically. And then the nervous system returns back to its balanced state when the tiger's gone. No organism can live in a constant stress state and be healthy, yet we're asking our bodies to do this more and more. It's a scientific fact that long-term effects of the hormones of stress downregulate genes and create disease in the body. So living in a stress response is a state where the body is breaking down the tissue continually. So emotions of fear, anger, hostility, guilt, shame, depression, they're all created by these hormones of stress, and they actually perpetuate them as well. So the amazing thing is that you can actually control this response. We're able to turn this stress response on simply by our thoughts. We can make the tiger in our minds real, or we can make it not real. So it's equally true that we can stimulate the state that supports our immune system and upregulate the genes that changes the proteins, and it makes the body stronger. So imagine being able to stimulate your own immune system to start repairing chronic disease in your body any time of the day you want and for as long as you like. It's totally possible. The main way to do it is basically the opposite of stressing. So it's completely possible, and it's called the placebo effect. And what this is your mind creating healing in the body. The placebo effect is seen in drug trials where there's one group that's getting the drug that's being tested because they're trying to see if it's effective, and the other group is getting a placebo, or it's an inert substance like a pill made of sugar, a sugar pill. So I want to use a depression study as an example of this. In this depression study, what they found was 81% of the people in the depression study actually healed and improved that were in the placebo group, in addition to the group that had the antidepressants. So they had improvement levels of anywhere from 10 to 100% over the period of 8 weeks, which was the duration of the study. So this is the mind creating compounds the body needs to heal. It's pretty amazing, and we have the ability to do this. So now you know that your thoughts and the state of being directly have an impact on your body and your health. They affect your body's chemistry, and throughout your day, just remember that you can chill, you can relax. So my invitation to you is use some of this information, do a little bit more research, experiment, take the best out of these different systems. Western medicine, use it to treat trauma. Chinese medicine, you can use to treat chronic disease. And you can also train your mind to rest more in a relaxed rest and digest state. Thanks so much for joining me.